Hello everybody and welcome. I'm the GroundedGliscor, your favorite arm-only Poketuber of this channel, and I want to welcome you to our Week 2 battle in the Alola International Season 5. I'm the GroundedGliscor, your coach of the Low Land Quakes, and this week we are taking on Slimy, coach of the Brooklyn Banette. Slimy is a really good friend of mine, has been in this league for a while now, Season 1, and I believe Season 3, 4, and then now 5. So he has been in this for a while, so we keep facing off against one another each and every season, and Slimy really puts me on my back foot each and every time and just asks me to literally give everything that I have each and every time. Like, with some players you just feel like you're doing okay with a matchup and whatnot, but Slimy always seems to have a better matchup versus me. I'm not sure if, well, from my personal standpoint, I would say that he has the matchup this week, just for the fact that he had the team decomposition that he has. But of course, before we get into that, I want to get you a quick team recap of what we have, since we do not team builders, and I do want to show you the sort of stuff that I'm bringing this week. So just sit back, relax, and just take a look with me for this team right now. So what you see in front of you is the 6 that I wanted to bring, which is Breloom, Greninja, Clefable, Scizor, Entei, and then lastly Nidoking. And just from front to end, we have Breloom right here, who's holding a Focus Sash with the Technician ability, where I can Bullet Punch, Mach Punch, Swords Dance, and Spore. This would allow me to actually break stuff early, put stuff to sleep, and then potentially wreck from there, because Breloom does have, again, a good matchup versus his draft overall. Like, he really does not appreciate Breloom on one or two Pokemon that he has on his roster. They do appreciate it, but outside of that, I do not see a real good switch in. Anyway, moving on, I wanted to add Greninja to this team as well, which is the Water Z Greninja, rocking Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, Water Shuriken, and U-Turn. Enough speed for his team, basically, for like the likes of Starmie and Superior, and just all-out offensive, which I really like due to him having Sand. I would like to have Water Shuriken to my disposal, and also have U-Turn for Switch Initiative, which also would be able to get in my Breloom if it really need be. Then we have Michelle right here, making her debut, which is the Clefable. Mark leftovers this week with Magic Guard, with Moonblast, Fire Blast, Thunder Wave, and Soft Boiled. Just bulky enough for me to take on Mega Tyranitar. This is like my one defensive check to Mega Tyranitar. And with Thunder Wave, I will be able to cripple a Dragon Dance variant of Mega Tyranitar, and then Moonblast will be able to deal with it, and then Fire Blast to potentially deal with the incoming Superior, and then also with the Excadrill, which is a likely switch into this. So that's that. And then we have fourth member on the team. We have Tetsu coming again after a clutch game last week. Scizor right here is Choice Scarf this week, rocking the Technician ability with U-Turn, Bullet Punch, knock off his superpower. Basically allows me to outspeed his faster mons like Starmie and Superior, which is very scary to me, and also is able for me to pick off a +1 Tyranitar with superpower if we would be able to get up a Dragon Dance. Fifth member of the team, I decided on Entei with the Choice Band, with Pressure of course, with Sacred Fire, Extreme Speed, Stomping, Chanter, and Toxic. Reason I have Toxic on the Choice Band set is mainly for the fact that I did not see a better move for Entei to run this week, and it would be nice to cripple his team along the way, because there's not really something that wants to switch into a Sacred Fire. Like Excadrill would not switch in hard into this, so Toxic is pretty much free from there, as Sacred Fire will do a ton to Starmie, since Sacred Fire is really spammable versus his team. And then lastly, we have Pride the Nidoking right here, rocking a Shucker Berry this week with Sheer Force, with Sludge Wave, Earth Power, Shadow Ball, and Toxic Spikes. Toxic Spikes are overall really good versus his team. Dual Stab is Sludge Wave, and Earth Power is also really good. Shadow Ball helps me to deal with likes of Cofagrigus if need be, and also with some couple other members on his team. And then basically the Shucker Berry allows me to lift a Life Orb, Sand Rush, Excadrill's boost in the sand. Anyway, if we look at my opponent's team, now you know what I'm rocking out with. We see that my opponent is bringing the Cofagrigus, the Aromatisse, the Superior, the Starmie, the Tyranitar, and the Excadrill. So, did I expect this? Sort of. I did expect a lot of ones for him to bring. But Tyranitar, Excadrill was a given for me that he would bring. I would assume that he would bring Starmie, and I also assumed that he would bring Cofagrigus, just based on the fact that I have Breloom and a Scizor running around, which he potentially wants to check for. So So things I need to keep in mind for this match when going into it was that I need to be aware for the fact that Superior could be a Subseed set if it wants to be that. It can also be a Scarf set, Life Orb set, or even Specs. Same goes for Starmie, like a Spec set, Life Orb set. And then the monster I should preserve this game, in my opinion, should be like Breloom because of the priority, which is really good versus him. Greninja can do with a couple of mons in his team, and then of course Scizor and Entei paired are doing well once Excadrill and Conkeldurrs are weakened. So, as I explained when discussing the team, I wanted to open up with my Breloom as because it can early break stuff. So I decided to do that as my opponent is going to open up with the Conkeldurrs right now. So, of course, I opened up with my Breloom and I wanted to go for the Spore straight up, but he of course would read that goes right out to the Superior, which means that my Spore did not activate, and I was really not sure what I could do right now, but I decided to switch hard out into my Entei, and the reason I wanted to switch out into Entei is because it resists the Leaf Storm, so it would not do too much, and I potentially can scare it out with a Sacred Fire. So, he's of course going to go for the Leaf Storm and unfortunately misses, but I'm going to go for Sacred Fire, break the substitute, and that is going to be no substitute for the Superior. I did not see leftovers, so I assume it's potentially Life Orb, like Life Orb Sub, but I could not guarantee that at this point in time. Anyway, he's now switching hard out to this Tyranitar, and I'm going to click the Sacred Fire right now and hoping for the burn. Like, it was a really risky play for him to switch this hard into the Entei, potentially risking the burn. But in the end, I wanted to switch my Entei out because I did not want to die to a Stone Edge or an Earthquake. Then he's going to Mega Evolve, and he's going to now pursue my Entei, so it's going to take quite a hefty chunk right now. But that gives me a free switch into my Clefable, since Clefable was my designated switch into Mega Tyranitar. And now I wanted to read him go into the Excadrill to abuse the sand. So I clicked the Fire Blast. It was a risky move, but I knew I could live a Stone Edge from T-Tar2. So that's why I went for the Fire Blast right there. So I switched now out into my Greninja, predicting the Excadrill to go for the Iron Head. And this would allow me to be able to go for the Water Shuriken if need be. As we do see that he is a Life Orb Excadrill. And he of course does not want to lose his Excadrill right now, so he's going to go out into his Aromatisse to take on Greninja's attacks. So I go for the Water Shuriken because that would be my best play, as I get a crit on my first Water Shuriken, and I believe I can hit 3 times with this Water Shuriken. No, actually I had 4. So I had 4 times with the Water Shuriken as the Sandstorm subsides, which is really good, and now I can actually click the Z move right here, the Z Hydro Pump. When calking, it was actually a roll if Hydro Pump would kill or not, like a max HP variant. So I was calking versus that, and it was at the range it was at, it was like a roll if I would be able to take it out. But yeah, Hydro Pump is enough going to be to pick up the Aromatisse, as he's now going to go into the Starmie. And when he brought this in, I knew for a fact that it would be Scarf, but in the end I was like, would he really do that? So that's why I decided to stay in and sack my Greninja up eventually to the Starmie, which gives me a swap into my Scizor because I resist the Fairy type move, and I still do not show him that I am a Scarf Scizor, which is really good in my opinion. So I decided to U-turn out right now on the Conkeldurrs, as I'm going to get Mummy as my ability, and I'm going to switch hard out into my Breloom. The reason I switch out into my Breloom is that I did not expect him to make the same play twice, so I'm going to Spore now right now on the Conkeldurrs, put it to sleep, and now the mayhem of Breloom can actually start at this point. So I'm gonna click Source Dance with Breloom so I can actually do more damage to this Conkeldurrs, because it's so bulky. I need some SD boost up right now to actually do quite a bit of damage to him. So I'm at +2, and I'm gonna click the Bullet Seed just to gauge how much damage it does, because if it's an offensive Conkeldurrs, I would be able to take it out. But then from the damage that it shows right here, it shows that he's max HP, max defense, I assume. But he goes for the Shadow Ball, and it does like 50%, but then gets the death drop as well, which does not matter in my opinion. But I'm now going to go for the Bullet Seed again. Hindsight, I should have probably Spored again and then SD'd one more. But I could not risk him waking up from the Spore again and then get a high roll with the Shadow Ball to pick me off. So I'm now switching out my my Breloom into my Scizor on the Starmie, as he is going to go for the Hidden Power. Which would be able to pick up my Breloom due to the Spadef drop, and also would be able to pick off Scizor then, as it does right now. So Scizor drops, and knowing that this is Scarf HP Fire, I can now go into my Entei, and Entei is just going to click buttons at this point. So he's now going to go into his Mega Tyranitar, set up the Sand again for himself, so get a bit of a Spadef boost to him as well. So I'm going to click Sacred Fire. So click a Sacred Fire, did not do much. And at this point, I thought that I did not need Entei, so that's why I clicked Sacred Fire and potentially get the burn. Lucky enough, on the third Sacred Fire, I get it, but unfortunately, he misses at the same time, which does matter eventually in the end. So I'm sorry about that, Slimy. But then again, he's now going to switch out into his Starmie to take the incoming move. But as you see, Starmie does not appreciate the Sacred Fire either way. Do not get the burn on this one, but Sandstorm is going to buffet the Starmie right now. And I'm going to switch out into my Clefable, because Clefable was expendable at this point in time. Mainly for the fact that Tyranitar was weakened, it was burned, so Clefable was not really useful more at this point in time. So I'm going to gain a bit more of Leftovers recovery, and he's going to click the Hydro Pump continuously. And I thought this was a good opportunity for me to Thunder Wave, just to slow this a bit down, since I did know that this was a Scarf Starmie. But then again, Substitute Sandstorm subsides right now, and I at this point wanted to sack off my Clefable. But he is unfortunately going to miss his Hydro Pump too, and I'm going to get a Soft Bolt off, which brings me back to green health, which is really good in my case. Again, I was sacking off my Clefable, and in my opinion, it didn't matter in the end that Clefable got paralyzed at this point in time. Due to the fact that I still had an Entei in the back with Sacred Fire, and Extreme Speed, and I had a Nidoking, and then the Balloon. My game plan right here was to stall out him of Hydro Pumps, which would mean that he would not be able to, I think, would be able to touch me. So eventually I thought that he would swap out his Starmie to a Superior, and I did not want to give that a free swap. So that's why I decided to Moonblast that turn. But he actually goes, sacks his Starmie, gets to the Excadrill, Iron Heads my Clefable, and I decided to sack it up right there. So right now I'm going into my Nidoking, expecting him to switch out because I was bluffing that I was a Cherry Scarf Nidoking. But he's going to get the Sand Up, I'm going to get an Earth Power. And that should be able to take out the Mega Tyranitar right now. So he's now going to go into his Excadrill in the hope that he can now outspeed my Nidoking, because he thinks that's Scarf. He goes for the Iron Head, hopes for the flinch, and he's not going to get the flinch, and I'm now going to be able to Earth Power his Excadrill, which is also going to take that out. Which now leaves him in with a Superior, and this is going to be a really close part at this time, because it's Superior against the world. He is going to leave Storm at this point, which is going to pick off my Nidoking and gets a +2 boost. So this was really scary for me, but he gets buffeted by the Sandstorm, and this should get me into my Entei, which is going to be able to pick it off in an Extreme Speed. Well, it's not going to be, it puts him in range of the Extreme Speed, because after the Extreme Speed and then the damage from Sand, I'm sure that Breloom could come in and then clean up with the Mach Punch and then pick up the game. So we win this game 1-0. Good game to Slimy. I'm really sorry about the hacks that took place in this battle, and I hope you can forgive me for that one. It was really fun playing you, and I hope we can play soon as well later on in the season. Anyway, I think this is enough. And I'm your coach, the GroundedGliscor, coach of the Low Land Quakes. And be sure to check out my next video, whatever I'm uploading again. Next week, we are facing off against the Waynesboro Glades, coached by Ethan. So be sure to check that video out, because I'm sure that's going to be a good battle. Anyway, that's enough for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video that I'm going to make. I will see you next time, guys, and I'm out.